Why, hello. Not that there's anybody here yet, but there could be later. So, yeah, there was a big noise outside. Well, pretty happy with him. Werewolf, not a wolf man. Yeah, I think that's going to be kind of nice. And comfy. And it'll move with your mouth. Nothing moves with your mouth. Mouth. Okay. Get back to painting, huh? I didn't get all of those guys greened properly. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit them one more time because they're all dry by now. Go ahead and get all the green done on them. Okay. Sorry guys, I had to turn on my airbrush regulator. Okay. Yes, it wasn't actually gunshots. What I'm pretty sure it was my cat running across the carport, which is right there, thin metal roof, very loud, because he caught a rat. And that was Doyle this go round, so he caught a rat. That's what it was. The rat has been properly disposed of, and the cat was given treats. Okay, so I have a little concoction down here. Yeah, torches, pitchforks. That would have been fun. I haven't gotten to fist fight a mob holding pitchforks in a long time. That'd be a blast. All right, so this is another new color. This is on these green guys again. And I just want to make sure you guys could kind of see it a little bit, but I also want you to see the mask. So this is that bright green with white added into it. And I want a bright color because I'm going to do even less than I did last time. We're going to hit some of the highest spots. And again, like last time, it's also going to calm down in time. There, see, now that just pops some of that detail a little bit. Yes, it's brightening it up, but it's also, it's making it a lighter, brighter green. And in a haunt environment, I think sometimes you need bright color. The haunted house industry is starving for color. We want more color, but we don't know it. We don't recognize the symptoms. A lot of people love clowns. The only monsters we make that have a lot of color. We're starving for color. So give them color. By golly. That's how I curse. By golly. That's not true. I don't curse much, but it does happen. Okay. More depth. Just in that green. That's all I'm working on right now. I'm definitely going to have 4 of these plant creatures to go for MHC because I like them. They sell well. They're kind of rare, you know. No one's really making plant creatures right now. And when I get these guys all finished up with their, when I get them all finished up and they have, you know, the ferns coming out around them, they're actually pretty nice masks. I really like them. They're not like collector masks. I don't do collector masks. I'm not a great mask maker. I'm not a great sculptor. I'm a great mask maker if you wear them. If you want to collect them, I'm not your guy. Plenty better sculptors and painters and stuff out there than me. But if you want to wear it, see it, and breathe, I'm your man. I should have left one of these in its dark green state, just so you guys could see, you know, each stage all together. But I'm also trying to get things done. Entertaining you guys is an added benefit, not the goal of tonight's work. So special effects work, to some degree, has had a shift in, let's say, its lower class. And by its lower class, what I mean is non-professionals who do not work in the field. And that shift, in my opinion, has come about because of Instagram and Facebook and those kind of sites where it's all about the pictures and such. And what I mean by that is it's not about the work. You're not, when you're at that level, you're not doing work to put it in a haunted house, to put it in a movie. You're doing work to take a picture of it, and the product is actually the picture of it. And that's your product, and that's what you're putting out into the world, which is very interesting. It's a neat way for things to be done, and it's interesting. There's a lot of Instagram makeup artists that don't necessarily work in the makeup field. So it's a weird dichotomy that is happening. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right. I want to ink this guy this evening, so you see that. I also want to get this color I just did on Frank, because it's lighter than the light green that I put on him before. This is a lighter, more yellow green. It's a little sicklier. So I'm going to put this on Frank also. Again, not everywhere. Want to hit Frank's structures, cheekbones, bridge of nose, brow, a little bit on that forehead. That's a nice piece of facial architecture right there. And generally, let's just brighten him up a little bit. Okay. Take a look at that. It's pretty good. I mean, where I'm not spending a ton of time. I'm using that, if you look at it this way, it looks like a light is kind of hitting him because it's hitting these high areas. And that's where the light is hitting. That's what I'm doing. I had some pretty high aspirations for this evening, but I'm not going to get to all of them. But I will. I am going to ink this other mask. I'm going to ink this guy right here because it's time. That's the UFC guy who announces. Ray Buffer, I believe, is his name. If I was stuck on a desert island, I could only have one airbrush. It'd be this one. Harbor Freight, $10. Okay. So, acrylic ink and 70% alcohol, about 50-50. I've started making it 25-75 with 75 ink, so I can always pour an individual bottle and add alcohol to it. Okay. You guys like how I'm working in a white shirt? It'll be a Jackson Pollock painting by the end of this night. Ah, smell that isopropyl alcohol. Smells like fun. Or hospitals. You decide. Ah. My favorite airbrush, that's why I throw it on the ground. Okay. We're doing exciting stuff now. This is alcohol, so it's going to dry pretty quick, in all honesty. I need to get some paper towels so I can kind of rub this off a little bit. Actually, I'll use a sponge. Just got to find where my sponges are. Okay, what I have here is a lightly damp sponge. And this guy's going to look dirty, and that dark is going to stay in all those, but it's going to come off in a lot of spots too. Uninked, inked, instant depth, instant life. And I feel like this isn't dark enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add a little bit more ink into this. Remember I said I had upped the ink in my newer versions? Well, this isn't my newer version. This is old stuff. And along with all this brown I've got in here, I'm going to put in some Payne's Gray. All right, whenever you want to mix something in a bottle for airbrushing, I do what is called the angry snail. I hold the bottle lid, close the palm of my hand, I support with my thumb, and I wrap with these two fingers. Why is it called the angry snail? Because now I shake it. Yeah, you get the idea. Okay. This is a very dark wash now. It's a very dark ink for rubbing out. Oh yeah, way different. Dare I say, sexier with its blackness. A little more contrasty, a little less organic, because I bumped that brown into a gray. But I'm going to work it over with that sponge and get it to where I want it. Alcohol is cheap. When diluted, this ink isn't that bad either. This ink is probably the most expensive thing that I use paint-wise. I want it to be everywhere. I want it to be invasive, like a species of clam. But look at how much age, a lot of this on here. Now this alcohol will take off the ink. It doesn't take off the latex paint underneath. As long as that's dry, it's safe. It'll stay there. What you think, man? That works pretty good. Okay, I'm going to actually put another color in my Airbrush. This airbrush is a Pache H. And this color is called Antler Brown, FW acrylic ink. I'm actually going to take the brown, I'm going to add a different color in with it. I'm going to add, do an emerald green. No, dark green is what it's called, dark green. Way more brown than green. Now I cannot angry snail the color cup on an airbrush, but the T-pins that I use to hold the masks in have this end right here, and I could put that in there and go, and that does a pretty good job of mixing it up. What you should always do, by the way, is run some alcohol through your airbrush first before you put in color, and that way you know it's going to work. I don't really clean my airbrushes like I should. But there we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, let's do this. While this is a darker color, it's also a warm color. So I'm bringing warmth back into this. I really cooled this mask down when I did the rub out technique on it. Well, this is going to warm that right back up, because this is a nice warm color that I'm putting on here. A little heavy. So to go in, pull it out a little bit. And pull it out with my finger. There we go. Boom, shalaga-laga. That's good old One Eye. Messed up ear. He's an inbred. That's how it happens. Whoa, do I want to use that brown on anybody? Yeah, I do. Hello, Higgin. Higgin is going to get both of these colors. He's got a lot of wounds and things that I want to highlight by getting some stuff down into. Now this guy is not dry brushed in the normal technique that I almost always use, because I did not base him in black. I based him in flesh. I based him in flesh to do a more subtle, more realistic paint job. Okay, that's pretty good. Take this guy. See, I'm getting it off of all the top. But everywhere it's settled, it's going to stay. Instant contrast, instant depth. Instant. Instant's a very strong word, but rapid. Let me clean this sponge off a little bit. I'll have to take the sponge in order to clean it off. Helpful. Okay, this sponge has now been wrung out, so it's going to help me clean this guy up. Who else do we have? What else do we have to do? Good night, Halloween nerd. Thanks. Yes, flipping the valve fixed the airbrush. Okay. I want to dry brush the inside of the mouth on my pig masks. No, my plant monsters. New color. I don't want to grab the cardboard just because it's far. So I'm blotting out on the table. So I'm pretty sure I've got enough. I don't have an edge to start on this go round, so I'm just going to do it. Inside of these are this lovely dark color. Burgundy. That's playing on top of the green that I made sure I dry brushed into there. And that doesn't have any highlights or anything yet. I'm just kind of getting at that color. So that's the inside. Then I can do all these teeth in a brighter color and they will pop. Let's grab another plant face. If I do this right, I've got Rob coming to the shop tomorrow. I can have him put all the ferns on these guys tomorrow, and then these will be ready for the show. If I can get them all painted before he gets here. Shouldn't be too hard. To cover my costs for MHC, we've got to make about $7,000. That's what it takes to cover cost of hotel, booth, road meals, gas, parking, all that kind of, it's about $7,000. That's actually further away than Transworld and slightly more expensive. The booth is half the price, but it's a lot further as a show goes. That's why it's important for me to do things that will help me make money while I'm there. I prefer to make a lot of product and front load. Now, yeah, I'll take some orders at the show, but what I want to do is I want to have stuff done so that I make money at the show selling what I brought. Some years I don't take any orders at MHC. That's because I know I won't have time the way my year is laid out. That's 4. However, that's such a strong dry brush, none of the others are done yet. So, I'm going to clean this brush off. I'm going to give Frank another dry brush. I don't want this to, I don't want this color to bleed onto Frank. This is like a magenta, and Frank is not magenta. This next color I want on Frank is almost white. put a little more white in this greenish white color that was down here. The lightest color that I used on the lightest color that I used on the plants, I've added white to that. And that is what I'm going to put on Frank next. I'm going to put it on very light, so I've got to get it off of this brush. Pulling some of that green off of him. Come over here. It's pulling some of that green off of him. It's actually fleshening up his tone a little. So there's an underlying green to him. That's in there. You know that's in there by looking at him. But I want now sickly green flesh as opposed to bell pepper, which is what a mask can be if it's green for the sake of being green. See how that's flesh toned? But there's green in it. And I'm not using a lot of this color. I'm just using it on the high spots. And this is all the dry brushing is the base. I'm still gonna go in and airbrush shading onto this, and airbrush, you know, just some shadows and hit these scars and that kind of stuff. That's all going to happen still. Looking in the camera. How many layers does Frank have on now? Black base, a pastel green, a dark pastel green first coat, then a light greenish yellow second coat, and now this flesh tone that I'm just putting over the top of that. But that's giving me depth. That's giving me what I want out of Frankenstein. If you look at him from this far away, you wouldn't say that's green. It's like a gray green, and that's what you need it to be. Okay, so guys, I feel like we've done pretty well this evening. This is my second broadcast for the night. I am going to go ahead and wrap up. I have a lot of masks to finish before MHC. Before MHC, I'm going to finish everything in this room. There's 4 masks on that table. 3 masks on this table are not done. I got to mold the werewolf tomorrow. 1 other mask is on that table. Frank is on this table. 2, 3. About 15 masks to finish. And I have 2 that are still just poured up. So, and I leave on Tuesday. So, woo! But, you guys are awesome. And I will see you later. Go make stuff. Thanks for watching, guys.